So we were talking about hypercylinders on the stream tonight, and I was going to talk about how you can do a hypercylinder. But before we get there, I want to show you how you can push a focal point of space out away from an object. So I've made these really useful magnet arrays, and you can see that there's a bunch of N52 little 1/8 inch magnets in there. Okay, and now you can test this and you can see that it's a magnet. If I take some sphere magnets and rope them together like this, and then you can see that it attracts to a center point here. See how it always points to this spot at the top? And it's wanting to suck down in here, of course, but there's actually a spot up here at the top where it first starts. And that point is a focal point away from the rest of the object. Okay, so, and then you can see that if we go the other way, you can see how the magnets react to it. Okay. Next, hyper cylinders. So a hypercylinder is a cylinder made with cylinders. Okay, so first, in all of Sonny's pictures, look at this. You can see how he's got these points. And the points have a dark spot, the blue, and a light spot, the yellow. Okay, that's exactly like a magnet. You have two poles in this area of space. Now, just sit on the fact that it's plasma for a minute. Okay, don't worry about it being plasma. Just focus on the fact that those areas of space are magnets. Okay, now, if you spin them very, very fast, then they sort of blur together and you get the top left image, which is this circle. And you can go back and look at my videos with the mirror and the laser where it makes the tube of light. It's the same kind of principle. Okay, so these points are magnets. All right. Now, here's another one of my magnet arrays. Okay. These are 3 cylinder N40 magnets. And actually, they're not cylinders. They actually have a hole in the middle so that these things can push them down in here and wedge them together. All 3 of these magnets have the north poles facing in. Okay? So you can imagine this is just like the picture that we saw before, except instead of being free space or plasma or something, we have physical cylindrical magnets. Okay, the magnets are just like the picture. They have a north pole and a south pole, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, like this, they're just 3 points. Okay, they're just 3 magnets. But if we spin it, all of a sudden they blur together. Okay, now, if you move it and spin it like this, okay, then you make a tube as you go because this center point is unaffected by the magnetism of the 3 magnets. All right, so as you move it through the air and it's spinning, the magnetism is blurring together in this circle. And what's going on inside of this tube? Well, all of the energy in this empty spot here will get sucked to the walls of this circle made in the gap here. And while we're on this gap, you see in Sonny's pictures how he's got 3 and 4 shapes and how he says that they make different shapes. Of course they do. Imagine what's going on with the magnetism with these 3 magnets crushed together. Because you have a triangle-shaped cavity here, what comes out over top of this as a field is a hyper pyramid. It's a 3D triangle, okay, that comes out around this spot here because there's nothing there, okay? But the magnetism is all pushing against each other. Now, on the outside, the cylindrical force will throw the energy off, but on the inside, it will suck it to the walls. And as you're propelling it forward and making this tube, you're basically creating this cylinder where all of the energy is cleared out from the middle point, and then you can move extremely freely through the center because there's no electricity or any energy for that matter holding you back. Okay, so I think this is what Sonny's paper is about. Now, before I go, let's go over plasma and magnets. Okay, so let's say you have, let me just pull it up real quick. Okay, so take a look at this thing. So here we have a donut of plasma, right? Now, this donut of plasma, while this donut of plasma is just energy, it's light, it's electricity, whatever you want to call it, okay? It's just energy. There's no magnetic field here. But that doesn't mean that plasma can't be made into a magnet. All right, so this is a weird idea. All right, so you have this plasma inside of the bubble, okay, but you can do something to it, and you can make that bubble of light right here, you can make this into a magnet, just like a ring magnet, okay? So with magnets, if you have one magnet, okay, and then you get another magnet, you put close together, when the two touch, they become one magnet, okay? So within this plasma, it doesn't matter how many magnets there are. Once they all link together like this, you can have one object with a magnetic field. Now, in regards to plasma engineering, this is super useful because if you can change the physical shape of your magnet as fast as what that thing moves around, then you can also change the field that it's creating too, right? Because cone magnets don't have the same field as what square magnets do, and they behave differently, and they do different things. And if you were to flip-flop this thing around, you can make some really interesting effects, right? So that's my talk on plasma and magnetism and hyper cylinders. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and be a free thinker.